Hi everybody. So I'm trying to build this channel a little better than I have in the past. This channel is almost 7 years old. My first video, just sharing my story, has almost 100,000 views. I cannot believe that. I was sitting in my living room, suffering my face off. I can't believe it. But anyway, if you're new here, my name is Angie Peacock. My story appears in Medicating Normal, the film. I also was on more than 40 psychiatric drugs in a 13-year period. My diagnoses were post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, blah, blah, blah. So you can go back and watch my older videos if you want to catch up. But thank you to all the people that have hung with me all these years, and we've all kind of healed together in one way or another. You know, I appreciate you for being here and caring. So before I get started, this video is going to be about coping with mental symptoms and withdrawal. And it's from all psychiatric drugs, basically. Maybe even opiates. It might even apply to opiates a little bit. I'm trying to build this channel, so I'm going to do like one video a week. So last week was the healing video. This week is dealing with mental symptoms. I do coach people and I consult with people and families about their choices in mental health. So these are kind of, the reason I wanted to make this video is because like 80% of the people I've been working with all have these problems. And sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself because it's like, this is such valuable information that people need to know, but they don't quite know it like when they're in the thick of it. And so in lieu of me repeating myself, I thought, let me just put it all in a video and then everybody can have it for free, you know, and watch it, and hopefully it'll help some of you. So before I get started, if you could do me a quick favor and just either hit like or hit subscribe, that really helps. It helps other people see it when it looks like it's popular. If you put a comment, that also helps bump it. So if somebody searches for things like Lexapro withdrawal, they might come across my video or something, and it helps. All right, so mental symptoms. To me, it was the worst of my symptoms, like the worst of the worst. Like I could not, there was nights like I thought I would wake, I literally like hurt myself in my sleep. The thoughts were so bad, and they seemed to get even worse in the evening. They were worse around my period. They were worse with any kind of stress. They were absolutely torture for like the first 17 months, I would say, at least. I remember watching Don Killian's videos. He doesn't have them up anymore, but he said that he had like suicidal thoughts that lasted 17 months. And I was like, oh, okay, I just got to make it to 17 months. And I made it there, and I still had them. And I was like, this is not, why am I the worst? You know? I'm almost scared to even share them because I don't want to get like censored or anything, but they were extreme. They were graphic. They were loud. They were violent. They were images. There were terrifying things that it felt like my subconscious was unleashed, and there was nothing holding it down. And I think I even wrote in some of my posts on Benzo Buddies that it felt like the Satan and Stephen King were living in my brain. That's like a level of horror. I also anyway, well, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, they were horrible. All right, so first things first, so I wanted to share my own experience, but now I'm going to talk about just the nature of thought. Now, I feel like I was very lucky because before this happened to me, I had taken meditation classes. I even went to India for a month and learned meditation with like Indian gurus and stuff. I read this book and I highly recommend it. I will put the link below. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That book changed my life and changed the way I looked at my own thoughts. So I had that training, so to say, before I went into withdrawal. So it really helped me. And I recognize people don't necessarily have that as a basis when they start going through this. So they don't know what's happening to them, and they don't know how to work with thoughts or whatever. So I highly recommend, if anything, if you do nothing at all, just go listen to the audiobook of The Power of Now. Or maybe there's free talks on YouTube if you don't have the money. I mean, I think the audiobook's like probably $10 or Kindle version. I know a lot of people have difficulty reading. I couldn't read in withdrawal, so I would just listen to it. I hope, or just go look for talks by Eckhart Tolle on YouTube. Those are free. All right, so the nature of thought. So the best way I can explain it is, this is the way that it helped me. If I think of thought as like tiny little electrical and chemical impulses in between neurons. It's just like electrical activity, chemical activity happening. It's not really me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just something going on. And I have a little bit of power on what I believe or what I want to attach myself to, or a little bit of a power to stand back and be like, oh, wow, there's some crazy thoughts going on. You know what I mean? And if you can't do that, there's even challenging a thought and self-talk to like combat the thoughts that are happening. I think the trouble that we get in is when we believe every thought that we have and we think like, oh my God, like, why am I thinking that? I'm going to go do it. You know, that's where you get into trouble. And I've seen a lot of people that they believe those thoughts 100%. And when you do that, that gets you in big trouble, like real quick, you know? So you have to like develop this practice of backing up, looking at the thought. I'm going to get into it more, but I'm just talking about like the nature of thought. So for instance, if I have a thought, I'm going to look at my TV screen, right? So I'm looking at you right now. Then I have a thought. Let me think of one that's mildly scary. I'm never going to get better. There's no difference in those two thoughts, right? But it's the meaning that I attach to either one of them. I say to myself, oh, it's not important. I'm just looking at the TV screen. But then I go, oh my God, I'm not going to heal. This is permanent. I'm attaching that meaning to it. You know what I mean? It's a scary thought. Yes, absolutely. And we see cases of people that are, you know, in withdrawal for a really long time. We read comments. It scares the crap out of us. We think that's going to happen to us. But you are also in like a vulnerable situation and your mind is not under 100% of your control right now. So you have to be really careful of what you expose yourself to. But this is what I'm saying. There's no difference in a thought between I'm going to sit in my chair and this is going to be like this forever and it's permanent and I'm never going to heal. It's just the meaning that you're attaching to each one or how much you believe each one, right? So here's some of the thoughts that you can get in psychiatric drug withdrawal. Intrusive thoughts. They can be about like earthquakes or hurricanes or a tree falling through your house or I'm going to break my leg, you know, just basically intrusive thoughts or thoughts that come in that you don't want there and they just barge their way in. The next kind is obviously the harm and the suicidal thoughts. I hope you understood what I meant by that. They're violent, they're scary. Sometimes they turn into urges. I know they did for me. It was like very intense. Again, just because you think it doesn't mean you have to act on it or that it's, what can I say? Like you have to get that space in there. You know what I mean? Next is obsessive thoughts. Oh my God. Like OCD type thoughts. Okay. A lot of people say, oh, now I have OCD. I developed OCD and now I got to get on meds for that. I'm not a doctor. Like I just have to say that out loud, but I developed what could be probably diagnosed as OCD in withdrawal. So it could be things about like, even there's like different types of OCD, like harm OCD, where it's like hurting yourself or, you know, compulsively checking, washing your hands, reading ingredients, being scared of food. Like there's all kinds of obsessive type thoughts. There's ruminations. That's a very common one I see a lot. I ruminated about situations that happened in the past and I wasn't sure like how to solve them, or I would have conversations in my head with different people and like, then they would say this and then I would say that. And then now I've come to believe that ruminations are actually helpful. Like it's helping you solve a problem that you can't really solve on your own. And it's actually helpful to me, you know, but they're pretty extreme in withdrawal. It just goes to another level. You can also have dark thoughts. I would have thoughts about death. Like I could not shake it. Like every day felt like death was around the corner. Even the way I look at things, like a normal tree that looks beautiful to me now look like dark, just like doom everywhere I looked, you know. They can be really negative. This is the one I see the most. And you can't help it. I was the same way, you know. You can't really help it a whole lot, but it's like I'm never going to heal. I'm the worst case. Nobody understands me. I have no support. Very like confirmation bias. And like I said, it's the nature of withdrawal. The chemicals are all out of whack. The electricity is all out of whack. You can't even hardly help it, but you can challenge it and know that like this is just part of withdrawal. It's not really me. I don't have to like believe every negative thought that I have, you know. And then lastly, neuroemotions is closely related. And the way I want to talk about that is neuroemotion is like you get really hurt about things or you get really upset where before you wouldn't. So like, for example, for me, I remember when I was in tolerance and I was tapering the benzo, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know about the groups or anything. And I would get so mad. Like, I was in the drive-thru. I'll never forget. I was at Wendy's, which I'm ashamed to admit that I ate at Wendy's, but I was at Wendy's and the lady didn't put ketchup in my bag. And I was just like, you have one job. Where's my ketchup? You know, I was like so upset. So that's related because we are neuroemotional. Like, we don't have full control over our emotions. So it's the same with thoughts. It's like we don't have full control over the thought, and the thoughts are way out there and wacky and stuff you've never thought of. And it can feel like this is the new me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to get past this and this is who I am now. But it's really not, you know, and I just know that from my experience and the people that I work with. I see them change these waves of thought, you know, and I've healed from most of it. All right, so how you cope in different periods of withdrawal and tapering also depends. So while you're tapering, like for me, I didn't know what was happening. I had no idea it was a drug, and I'll never forget, I had a friend call me, and I was like, Tony, you don't understand. Like, something is wrong. Like, I remember telling him on the phone, he's like, Angie, I really think you need to get back to where you were a couple years ago when you were really into spirituality and you were really into meditating and you were really into, you know, yoga and all that. You were really happy then. And I was like, do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I have not tried that? I'm telling you that I'm trying it and it's not working. Something is seriously wrong with me. I also went through a program that was trying to get me to goal set because I stopped going out. I stopped going to the grocery store. I stopped engaging socially. I didn't know what was wrong with me. You know what I mean? That didn't work, obviously, and therapy didn't work. When I was in that tapering, way unbalanced state, I was challenging the thoughts, though. That part has always stuck with me. All right, when you're in acute withdrawal, for me, what really helped was constant self-talk. So, like, if I had a thought like, I'm going to die from this, for instance, I would say, no, if you were going to die, you would have died already. No, people just like you have healed from this. No, you're not going to die. You're actually very much alive and your body is healing and you're going to cope with this and you're going to be fine and you're strong enough and you're going to make it 1 second at a time. That's what I did to get through acute withdrawal. It was freaking hard. I was also very obsessed with my phone, and I know a lot of you can relate to that because I've heard that all week. And it's like you're scanning and searching for one thing that'll give you a little bit of hope, a little bit of relief, like, oh, somebody has that same symptom as me, or, oh, this person got better, oh, thank God. And it's just like just enough to like take your nervous system down a notch, you know. Another thing I did to cope with them during acute withdrawal was I was trying to help others as a way to help myself. So if I could distract myself by helping someone or saying a nice word, that would like take me out of my horrible thought loop. But, you know, like I said, most of the time I was laying in bed scanning on my phone. But it's like, we got to do what we got to do, you know. It was a minute by minute struggle. And sometimes I counted my heartbeats because the thoughts were so scary. I was just like, I would lay there and force. It's almost like you have to imagine you, like Kung Fu, what is it called? Jedi mind trick, okay? Like, I'm going to just pressure all my thought into one stream and just try to ignore all the scary ones and just focus, count my heartbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just don't listen to anything else. It literally was like a forcing. It was not fun at all. I can't even believe I made through that. It's hard to even talk about. I also found people that I could share my thoughts with that were experiencing the same kind of thoughts. And I suggest this for the last 7 years. Like, you've got to find a healing buddy. Somebody who's similar time off or tapering or similar drug or similar age, similar symptoms. And if they're safe, talk to them on the phone, you know, text, whatever, just to like get that out. Like, I'm thinking this really scary thing, you know. That helped me so much. Also, the biggest thing, like I said earlier, knowing it was just bad chemicals. It was not really me. This is not my new me. This is really bad withdrawal, and it's going to go away. You just got to make it through. It's an endurance race. A lot of times you just have to get through the day. Just like, what am I going to do in the next hour? What am I going to do for the next 5 minutes to not let these thoughts take me over, you know? Another thing is huge distractions, like dog videos, laughing things, social interaction would pull me out of it, it would seem. Like just somebody talking to my face and me really focusing on their face and what they were saying. That would kind of pull me out a little bit. Making you laugh, like reading something spiritual, if that means something to you, or going out in nature, just anything to just not believe them. And that's where that book, The Power of Now, kind of comes in, about like being in the present moment. So, and like I said, this is not like a cure-all, okay? But like when you're sitting washing the dishes and you're having these thoughts, it's like the Jedi mind trick. You have to bring all of your focus back and feel the hot water and feel the soapy suds and feel the way you're washing the dish and the way it rinses off, and then put it in, like almost do it like slow motion, and really feel into your body and how you're doing something in that present moment. When I would lay under a blanket, I would feel the weight of the blanket and the warmth of my breath. And like I said, count my heartbeats, and I would just bring all my energy into like this moment. Like, how can I make this moment like so present that I'm not even thinking, there's not a thought, all those things like that helped. All right. And now in protracted, and that's where, I would say I'm 80% healed or so, but here's one. This is not toxic positivity. Okay. I'm not telling you like, oh, just paint pink paint on your suffering brain. Like, no, I would never say that. It never worked for me. But it's been so long. Like, I've been doing this for 6.5 years, almost 7 years. Okay. And at a certain point, it's like, is this withdrawal anymore? Or is this trauma from my withdrawal? Or like, what kind of life do I want to live after this? And I'm trying to work on that new life, So I downloaded this app on my phone. It's called I Am. And it might sound silly, but all day long it sends affirmations to my phone. And I don't always see them, but like, here's a list of them. Let me see if you can see. Oops. There we go. Wait. No, I can't. Okay. It's okay to make mistakes. I love and forgive myself. I am comfortable with being myself just the way I am. So those sound really cheesy, and you don't have to believe them, because I don't even believe half of them, right? But those are thoughts that I would not otherwise think myself. So it's like, I need somebody to tell me like positive thoughts, just to like put them in my lexicon, because I just don't naturally think that way, especially after this experience, especially after the brain damage that we experienced, and especially after like healing from the trauma of the whole experience. You know what I mean? So I really dig that, and I'll just like sit with one of them. So like, for instance, here it is. Whenever I'm stressed, I make sure I have time to breathe so I can think clearly. So I will just like sit back and just like think about that for a minute. All right, yeah, when I'm stressed, I can just chill. Like right now, I'm feeling a little stressed. It's okay. Take a deep breath. To just like to like try to bring that into my mind, because I don't naturally think like that, Self-talk in protracted is a big thing. Like, you are getting better. Look back a couple years. Look how much better you have gotten. Keep that hope alive. Don't let people steal your hope. Do not. Like, you cannot. Your mind is a very powerful thing. Do not let those few scary stories make you think that you're one of them. Like, the odds are on your side that you're going to be a success story. Even the bad stories turn out to be okay. Most of them, or we don't know what else, anyway. Look back at your old symptoms and see the improvements. Distraction, like I said, get back into your new life, whatever that looks like. Even if it's just walking to the mailbox, you couldn't do that for 3 years. Try to feel those good feelings. For me, I set it up on purpose. Like, today I'm going to go to an apple festival, and I might feel like crap the whole time, but I will see like a kid smiling or a pony, and I'll pet the pony, or I'll taste a piece of delicious apple pie, and I will savor that moment. And I bring that into my body as much as I can, and like, oh my God, feel that joy. Even if it's like deadened because of this experience, like, that's how you rebuild these neurons. That is how neuroplasticity works. I know a lot of people don't believe in neuroplasticity, but I really think that is how we are healing. It's like, as your damaged self starts to heal and that other self starts to emerge, you start doing more, you start going out more. Those are building new lanes of activity. You know what I mean? So me, I'm doing that on purpose, and I'm doing it consciously, and I'm setting up experiences to help me feel those things. You know what I mean? And those good feelings are going to cloud out the bad feelings. And soon enough, boom, boom, boom. So the whole point of all of this that I'm saying is, this is the best part. Are you ready? When you start to do all these practices and whatever works for you, because we all have to find our own way, right? I'm not prescribing anything to you. I'm telling you what's worked for me. These things become automatic. So because I've done them so much day in and day out for 7 years, it's like, that's where my mind goes. So like, if I start thinking negative, I go, oh, there it goes again, Ange. It's okay. It's not really you. There's a little stress going on. Come back to the truth. The truth is, you are healing. You're just a little sensitive. It's going to be okay. Keep hope alive. Boom. Let's get busy living, So that's the best part. I feel like we should have learned all these things ahead of time before we ever got put on meds, but here we are. Some of it we cannot control. It is just bad chemicals, and it will heal when it's time. But at some point, we do have control over some of this. And last thing I'll leave you with, if you want to do a session around this or anything, you can hop on my website, but I'll give it to you for free. This is kind of what I do with people. We make a list of the top 10 negative thoughts that you have, whatever they are. I'm not going to heal. This is permanent. I'm too damaged. Nobody loves me, whatever they are. And I want you to write all 10 down. You can do 20, 30, whatever you want. And then I want you to write 3 to 4 thoughts or like better statements that will challenge each one. And then you have to practice. Boom, boom, boom. Every time you think that thought, I am not going to heal, you write the evidence that that's not true. Like, for instance, some of my people say, if Angie healed, so will I. Baylissa says people heal, so why wouldn't I heal? I've seen evidence of my own healing. So challenge all those thoughts to where you start to practice them, and then you're like, oh my God, that's a withdrawal thought. I'm going to shift over here to this one. I'm going to read my paper 80 times a day and do the Jedi mind trick, focusing on those good thoughts. And that's how we hardwire those things in. And like I said, it's not a magic bullet. It doesn't work right away. Some of it, you can't help it. You're going to slip back into it when you get in fight or flight. But it will ease. It will help you as you go through this process, because mental symptoms are like the worst. So good luck. Leave it in the comments what you found valuable in this. If you have ideas for topics that you want to hear about, please write them down below and I will consider them. I have a huge list of videos to get to, but this is this week. Thank you. And please like and subscribe if you can, and I'll see you next week.